Who was flipping the bird crossing the finish line last night in the truck race? Mom's pick was pretty obvious today. Will my pick be enough to bounce back? What solution have I come up with to lower the carbs in my barbecue sauce? We'll get into that and more next on Racin-n-Braisin. Hi folks, welcome back to Racin-n-Braisin. I am CJ. It is Sunday, which means we've got a couple of things to get into. We're going to talk about the racing that we've seen so far this weekend, discuss the picks that were made in the regular season competition between myself and Mom, and finally touch on that barbecue sauce and the solutions that I came up with to keep my carbs down. I'll share them with you here. So let's dive right on into what we saw last night as trucks hit the track in Kansas. It was not Heim time as everyone expected to be. Corey Heim had some major issues on pit road throughout the night. A gun failure, the lug literally just snapped off of the gun early on in the race, cost him a bunch of positions, so he climbed his way back through. And then a late pit road penalty cost him even more positions, even though he still ended up climbing his way back through late in that race to a fourth place finish. That guy is fast. We will definitely be seeing him on Sundays on the regular. He'll be racing today, in fact, in the 2311 67 car. But the win ultimately ended up going to Carson Hocevar. Hocevar and Layne Riggs got into a heck of a battle for the win last night. It looked like Hocevar was going to run away with it late there. He had stretched out a lead, but Riggs came on strong at the end and actually caught Hocevar going into turn 1 and 2 on the last lap. They made contact. They got squirrely. Both of them got into the outside fence, but kept their foot into it and had a drag race to the finish. Hocevar ended up getting the win over Riggs. Hocevar is the one flipping the bird down the front stretch last night. That guy has got to remember his 6'6" frame means he's got long fingers, and we definitely saw that finger going down the front stretch as he took the checkered flag. Now, he did say in the post-race interview that it was a little bit in jest. He really did enjoy the battle between himself and Riggs. And you know what? The post-race interview with Layne Riggs was quite impressive. His composure and his confidence in that post-race interview were fantastic. Yes, you could tell he was dejected that he didn't get the win, but he knew he had the shot and he took it. And he conveyed his confidence in his truck, in his team, in his ability, even going so far as to say that he will definitely be racing Hocevar on Sundays in the future. And you know what? That interview was impressive enough to put Layne Riggs on my radar now going forward. So that was the truck race last night. Before we move on to what we're going to see today and the picks and all of that, I want to touch on some of the other racing that went on this weekend. For one, let's stick at Kansas. ARCA was there Friday night. In fact, they were there all day Friday. They had a test session Friday afternoon for about 4 hours. Apparently, the ARCA teams hadn't really had a chance to test out their mile-and-a-half packages yet this season, so they had the track time for it, and they used it. But the race itself, boy, that was a stinker. It was a three-way battle, and it seemed like those were the only 3 cars on track. Not just from the way the coverage was conveying it, but they literally ran away from the rest of the field. The race got stretched out right away, and those 3 guys were out front battling. Yes, it was a good battle throughout, but it wasn't enough of a interesting race to keep my attention. I flipped away to other things, to be quite honest with you guys, and didn't even return to the race after like a second or third time of flipping. So not a very good ARCA race. You could tell the 3 guys that were up front, which included Butterbean Queen, were the class of the field and will most likely be in trucks or Xfinity in the future. So ARCA race not that good. After the truck race last night, I was messing around in the kitchen, had broke out the mixer yesterday, a good activity to do on rainy, gloomy days like I'm experiencing here this weekend in the Carolina mountains. So while I was working on that, as the truck race ended, Fox popped over to a replay of the IndyCar race from the road course at Indianapolis. I let it play. I had it on the background. I watched the start. The start was exciting. Anytime you have a long straightaway that culminates in a sharp right-hand turn, you know it's going to be interesting to watch. And the first lap was interesting overall. There was even a little bit of contact in the rear of the field as they finished the first lap, but that was it. That was the only excitement for the race. I let it go for about 25 laps or so. I finished up what I was doing, got things in the oven, and I flipped it off. Kind of the tell of the tape for IndyCar this year, from what I understand. I think they've only had one caution flag in 5 races so far. Granted, they've all been road course races, but I think that's saying something about their racing this year. If you are looking for good racing that is not in the NASCAR realm, this weekend the IMSA and all of their affiliated series are out in Laguna Seca this weekend. And all of the replays of those races are on YouTube on the IMSA official. I've had them on in the background all weekend. They've been great to enjoy. Let's move on now. It's Sunday. Picks have been made. Called Mom this morning. Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers out there. Mine in particular. Love you bunches. She had first pick today. Very convenient for Mother's Day. And I already knew what that pick was. We knew what that pick was even before they left the shop this week. She went with Kyle Larson. I think that was pretty obvious. So it left the rest of the field for me. She thought I was going to go with Buescher. Honestly, he wasn't even on my list. My list this week included Hamlin, Reddick. I had an eye on Josh Berry until his qualifying set him way back in the field. He scraped the wall on his qualifying lap. I was also keeping an eye on the other Hendrick driver that looked good in lap averages yesterday, William Byron. And that's who I am going with. Hopefully that will be enough to at least keep me within striking distance. I think we all know that Larson is going to be a force to reckon with today. It's just kind of a matter of who else is going to contend with him. The great thing about the racing at Kansas is that it doesn't really get too spread out. The leaders with this new car cannot pull away. There is enough room on the track for this car to move around and find different lanes to find speed in, which is advantageous for all of us fans. It means the racing is going to be great all day long. Hopefully, Fox and their new director give us a wider perspective today on what we're going to see. We get a chance to enjoy the action at Kansas today. So that's it. The picks are in. Let's now talk about what is on my menu today, and that barbecue sauce that I have been teasing all week long. I went to the store yesterday to get my groceries for the week, and happening through the pork aisle and saw a great manager special on some country style ribs. So that settled the argument of what protein I am going to use for my barbecue sauce, but it still left the research process to be done to figure out how I was going to lower my carbs. Now, Kansas City barbecue sauce is known to be super sweet, super sticky. That's why everybody loves it. And like I said in Thursday's video, a tomato-based sauce, but it's got a lot of brown sugar in it. It's got molasses in it, so the carbs are going to be high. So how do I replace the brown sugar? Well, there's a couple of different routes that you can go that are keto friendly. One that I've used in the past is a product called Swerve. It's a brown sugar substitute. It looks just like brown sugar, has a very, very similar texture to it, much stronger than traditional brown sugar, so you only have to use about half of what you need, but it's got that molasses flavoring in it. Another route that can be used is and this is one that I'm going to do today, is I'm going to make a simple syrup with stevia and hot water. So I'm still going to use my tomato sauce as a base. I went and grabbed some organic canned tomato sauce, so there's not extra stuff in there. I'm going to use 16 ounces of that. That'll produce me 2 cups of barbecue sauce, plenty for me to use throughout my cooking process today. And of course, still going to include the Worcestershire, the apple cider vinegar. I have a hickory flavored liquid smoke and Tabasco to give it some heat. That will round out the liquid side of everything. That simple syrup will thin it out just a little bit for me. But once I get it on the stove and let it reduce, the water of that will evaporate and will thicken it back up, which is what I'm looking for. And as far as seasonings go, I'm just going to use your standard barbecue seasonings that you're going to find. Chili powder, paprika, little bit of cayenne powder for that extra little bit of heat on the back end, and of course your onion powder and your garlic powder that go in it. Salt and pepper, always a standard addition. So that's what's going to happen. I'm going to put all of that together, put it on the stove, get it to a low simmer, and just let it go for about 5 to 10 minutes until that water evaporates and it thickens up. I'm going to do that early this morning, and then from there I am going to stick it in the fridge for several hours while I get the braising process started on my ribs. I'll use that sauce at the end as a glaze on the ribs. Be on the lookout for a short today, and I am even going to put together here a separate video on that sauce for you guys. That's my solution. I worked it out. I'm really only going to go total with what my solution has been to only about 2 carbs per serving, which will be about a 1/4 cup of a serving. So awesome. Works for me. Keeps my carbs down way better than the 15 to 17 that I probably would have been playing with if I had stuck with the brown sugar. So that's what we've got today. That's what my day is looking like. I'm braising some ribs and making some barbecue sauce. Let me know in the comments below what you guys are doing for the Kansas City race today. What is on your menu? I always love to hear it. Until tomorrow night, guys, I hope you all enjoy the race. Have a happy Mother's Day, and I will talk to you tomorrow night with a race recap and let you know how the points played out for the day. Take care, everybody. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Bye.